Is this one of those babies go to hell conversations?
No, babies go to heaven.
A lot of Calvinists believe otherwise.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah, well, what do you
agnostic
But
to
think?
it, actually.
You're agnostic?
Yeah, I mean, I've looked into it a little bit. When we look at the Jewish people and their sacrifices that they used to do, they have what's called a bar mitzvah and a bat mitzvah at the age of 13. Uh, Prior to that age, they didn't sacrifice for the children for their sins. And so I'm thinking, well, if they don't need a sacrifice, then until after 13, well, then there's some sort of accountability. This is what I'm thinking. However, there's other theology to understand, and so it's
So
kind of like I'm not sure.
you think it's possible that a maximally great, maximally good God possibly sends babies to eternal torment and
Oh,
torture
sure.
in a lake of
Oh,
fire?
sure. It's very possible.
eternal, I mean, that's just and loving God sends a baby who was born, beaten to death, and tortured, and dies 5 minutes after birth to hell.
Yeah, I think it's very possible. Now, whether I believe it or not is a different story. I do know many people that hold to that. It's called covenant theology. Yeah, that's part. That's part of the one of the three C's: covenantal, Calvinism, and confessional. So
And
that's part of the
if
understanding.
you, I'm not just asking if you think it happens. I'm asking you, like, you think that could happen, and it's just and loving, perfectly just and loving.
But yeah, judgment is loving. Now, when we look at, let's say, like, I'm not advocating that this is the case, but some people believe, like for instance, Psalms 51:5. It'll say, "Surely I was sinful at birth,
Yeah, you're
sinful
not
from the time my
advocating it,
mother
but he's
conceived me."
asking you what you believe.
Yeah, I'm agnostic on it.
I just don't know how anybody can consider that to be just or loving. And you said judgment. Like, what, what can a baby do in the 5 minutes that it's born that would justify that?
Well, the way I look at it, it's like kind of like falling short of the perfection. And so it's kind of like even in their state of being, their actions, whether it's not like this cognitive, um, uh, deliberate, intentional,
The only
malicious
thing they're
action.
falling short of is living longer.
Well, I mean, just existing, some may, as a fallen creature, may be falling short. That's what I'm saying.
But how would you? I mean, it's not their fault that they existed as a fallen creature, is it?
Well, I mean, I don't think fault necessarily has to do with it. I don't think it's kind of like if
Think
you
it's righteous
slip
to
and
be
fall
judged
over
for
a
things that
cliff, is
aren't
it
your
your
fault?
fault,
Do you think it's righteous
right?
to be judged for things that aren't your fault?
Like I'm saying, if you climb a mountain and you slip and fall to your death, is it your fault? I mean, the thing is, is it right that you die? I would say that it's right that you die.
What the fuck is wrong with
You're
you?
No,
really sick, dude.
because this is the understanding as far as like those type of accidents go. It could be the case that you didn't wear the proper hiking shoes or something, and because of that mistake, right? It was like not intentional. You meant to take the
Think
proper
maybe those
care.
babies deserve to die because they didn't have a little infant set of Timberlands?
Um, well, I'll tell you what. Like
Well, hold on.
I don't
I
know.
just
I don't know in terms of that case. Like I said about the age of accountability, things like that. But if it's a case, this much I can say. If it is the
mm,
case that babies go to hell, I'm perfectly fine with it. But I don't know if
you're
that's the case.
perfectly fine with it. It wouldn't cause you any pause at all.
No pause.
And you
And you have
wonder
no
why
idea how
people
that's
think
all good, right?
you wonder why people think you're like a fucking sociopath or something. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I do think that babies being somehow innocent. I think this is more like a humanist type of view. I don't think it's scriptural.
No, yeah, no, I believe that there's a lot of Christian apologists that have gone around this, in the last few years and said that babies are selfish and entitled.
Oh yeah, I've
They're
heard
sick
that
people,
too.
man.
I mean, I've heard Steph the other day talk about her little kids, and she called them little. I forgot what she called them, but she's saying no, they're full of sin. That's what her point was.
Aw.
John, do you ever hear yourself saying a sentence and you're just like, man, this thing I'm saying right now is fucking stupid? Does that ever happen to you?
No, but I do say some things. I said, I bet you some atheists think it's stupid. I do think that.
Oh yeah, we definitely think that. Yeah.
Now, with regard to whether I think it's stupid, I mean, this is not my first reply in a sense. I've made these replies before. And so, I mean, I very rare, extremely rare that I change my position on something because I've simply said it, what, 50, 100, maybe 500 times before.
Just curious.
Sounds like a really nice guy, this Jesus guy, John.
Oh, here's another thing. A lot of people don't understand Jesus, right? When Yahweh
Think something
command.
whitewashed tombs, corpses and
No, no, no,
whitewash. Is this the Darth line?
not just that. Oh, that's nothing. What I'm talking about is when Yahweh commanded Joshua to go in and kill the Canaanites, the women, the pregnant women, the children, the animals, all of that. We Christians believe Jesus did that. Jesus commanded him, right? So that's how we understand Jesus.
Yeah, he wasn't so nice. Do you think you can understand how people listening to you might be turned away from Christianity? Might we were talking about that earlier today.
Right.
Do you think you can understand when you say things like, "Oh, Jesus might send babies. He might throw the little babies into a lake of fire to be eternally tormented and tortured," and I'm fine with that. Do you think you understand how that might turn some people off?
Yes, definitely. I can understand why some people would think that, but just because of what I believe, I don't think that any single person, could be turned away in that sense. I think it's all under God's purview and sovereignty, and so He loses none. So it's not like He's helpless to, you know, prevent you from turning away from Him. That's not the case.
Yeah. Okay.
So because I believe it, even if it says, "Oh, you're turning away people from God, or you're doing a service to atheism, well, we like you, this and that," whatever people want to imagine, it doesn't affect what I believe. It's just they're entitled to their opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you're a sick son of a bitch.
If it is the
Mm.
case that babies go to hell, I'm perfectly fine with